Welcome to the Momentum Matters podcast, where we have courageous conversations with women leaders. We'll hear about their accomplishments, their experiences, their challenges, and best advice. If you're inspired by women who have overcome the barriers and gone on to do extraordinary things, you're in the right place. My name is Karen Taradas. I'm the founder and CEO of Social You, a digital marketing company specializing in social media management, training, and consulting. Our guest for today's episode is Salaam Green, founder of the Literary Healing Arts Foundation and Services. She is known for her storytelling, and she is a certified racial healer. Now here's our host, April Benetollo, CEO at Momentum Leaders, a Birmingham-based nonprofit on a mission to advance women in leadership.
Welcome, Salaam. We are so excited to have you on the Momentum Matters podcast. I have literally been looking forward to this all week long. So I'm so excited to have you and get to ask you some questions about your background, your accomplishments, your life as an artist, and also to have you share a little bit with us about what you plan to present at the Momentum Conference. So welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity. I am super excited to talk about all those things and to meet you and to be here today. So thank you.
Yeah, and I can't wait to meet in person. Won't that be grand when we can all do that again?
Yes, we got to keep our fingers crossed and just yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It will happen.
It will happen. It will happen. It will happen in March, no doubt.
Yes.
So I want to help our audience get acquainted with your background and understand a little bit more about who you are. I know that you were born and bred in the Black Belt here in Alabama, and not everyone in our audience really knows what that means. And I think that informed a lot of your writing and a lot of your work. So I would love to start with you sharing a little bit about your roots.
Oh, thank you so much. Absolutely. Born and bred in the Black Belt. So I'm a rural girl at heart here in Alabama. So I was born in Greensboro, Alabama, which is part of the Black Belt here in the South. And the wonderful thing about being born in rural Alabama and then in the Black Belt is I had a great opportunity to be the daughter of a teacher. And my mother was a teacher, my father was a teacher, my grandfather was a principal, all those things. So I come from a family of educators and a family of close-knit community. So in the Black Belt of Alabama, where we're known for the black soil, the rich dirt, the beautiful, that's why we call it the Black Belt, but also the community of people, community of educators, community of healers, community of family. So I had a village around me where I was able to kind of every single day have an opportunity to sit with people, to sit with my mother, to sit in her classroom, to sit outside, to sit underneath the tree and read, and to begin to kind of really foster that artistic imagination and the creative part of me. So that's why I always say just being born and bred in a space where a village sits around you every single day is such a gift and such a blessing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your family. Was there one person above anyone else that was really influential, and influential especially in you discovering who you are as an artist?
Yes, I can, remember my mother asking me, what do you want to do when you grow up? That question that all kids get, and all along, growing up and getting those bold questions of what you want to do. And all I could ever say was a writer. And I don't think at the time I knew of a writer. I didn't know of an author. I didn't know. I just had books everywhere in my house. So my mother's a great influence on reading. I remember having golden books all over the place. So that's aging me. If anyone knows anything about the golden books, they had a gold rim on the side. And as a little girl, you remember? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I would carry around these little golden books that my mom gave me, that my mother, purchased for me and gave me an opportunity to read and to explore and to go places that I otherwise was not able to go. So my mother was the influence around education, and then also fostering that writing. I remember in the first grade, I think. My first grade teacher was my auntie. We call her auntie.
Auntie.
And so, yeah, auntie was my auntie. And my first grade teacher, that was the first time I got an opportunity to actually write. I remember her saying, it's time to write a book. And so we got these little templates and all these beautiful little book covers and all these things. But I remember how excited I was because for some reason, I knew this was going to be that opportunity for me to put all of my imagination into one place. So even in the first grade with my mama and the golden books and my auntie and giving me an opportunity to start to write a little, book in the first grade, fostered my artistic love for writing and using my imagination.
Beautiful, beautiful. I do remember those golden books very well. My grandmother was also a school teacher. And her house was filled with those. And we would go spend summers in Cottondale, Alabama. And there wasn't a lot to do in the house other than read. So if it was bad weather outside, that's what we reached for sure.
Oh, beautiful.
Salaam, I was wondering if in your upbringing, if there were particular moments of challenge or things that you feel like you had to overcome that really helped inform you as an artist and as a leader.
Oh, absolutely. I think we all have so many challenges. And I would say also, as someone who grew up in the Black Belt, which is an area that is poverty stricken, beautiful people, beautiful language, beautiful space, but there's no industry. So you're growing up in a space where there's a lack of industry, there's a lack of financial economic empowerment, all of those things. And so of course I felt that growing up. My mother was a single mother. And as a single mother, I had, of three children, I have two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. So the challenges of watching my mother as a school teacher with a master's degree, still not being able to make ends meet because not because of her education, not because that she wasn't following her passion, but because of the fact that we are in a space where economic empowerment and economic growth was stifled as a result of poverty and also as a result of politics and all those things. So at the time, I didn't have the words for it, but those challenges that I had to overcome was my mother always telling me, we're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college. And I grew up knowing I was going to be a writer. I want to be a writer and I'm going to college. And I remember my mother showing me the University of Montevallo. And I may have been in the 6th grade or 5th grade or what have you. And out of all the challenges that were happening in the Black Belt, in the rural area, the challenges of a single mother, the challenges of not being able to make ends meet as a single mother and as a teacher and all of those things, she introduced me to the University of Montevallo, a liberal arts small school that was maybe 30 hour from where I live, as well. And my 6th grade teacher, I sat in her classroom and I remember her telling me, you're going to the University of Montevallo. So having so many people kind of really believe in me amidst some of the challenges was ways that I began to really overcome some of those things. And of course, I did go to the University of Montevallo. I graduated with my bachelor's in English. It was the first school that I applied for, and it was the first one that I got in. And it was, it just was an epiphany, of how moving from a space where I didn't really think that was going to be possible to possibility.
And it's a beautiful campus.
Yes. It's the most beautiful campus. If anyone has not gone, please go. You will be driving on bricks. I know there are red bricks that you get a chance to walk on. It's one of the most beautiful campuses in the nation, probably, that they usually get that acknowledgement.
The most beautiful campus you've never been to, right?
Right. The most beautiful campus you've never been to and never knew existed, right? Kind of right in your backyard or in someone's backyard. It's right there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So then you graduated from the University of Montevallo with your degree in English. And so share with us what happened after that. I mean, a lot of people may aspire to be a writer and yet have a real difficulty making a living at it. So help us understand what your path has been like and how you have been able to hold fast to that dream.
So true, so true. Yes, I did not start off making any money with writing or any of those things. I remember my mother telling me later in life, you can't make any money writing. So let's try to look at education. So I did go into early childhood education, and I spent 15 years as an early childhood educator, starting
You're a
in an
saint.
I don't know. You know what? Infants are my favorite people. Little ones are my favorite people in the world. And I know everyone is like, what? But I did start off in an infant classroom at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, working with infants and toddlers and working my way up into administration for 15 years and eventually working for the state of Alabama. But yes, English degree, early childhood, the path to being a writer, or the path to following my artistic passions, the path to supporting myself to do that was not easy. It was in of itself a challenge. And I'm very proud of the path as well, because that path got me an opportunity to make these beautiful connections around the state of Alabama, to meet wonderful administrators and teachers and early childhood professionals who themselves were artists, and teaching is an art, all those kinds of beautiful things. So no, I did not go directly into that. So I started with the early childhood, which really taught me a lot about administration, about the corporate world, about being in a space as a woman and how to make sure that I was able to have my voice heard, all of those kinds of things, which led me to later on pursuing my passion with writing.
And so how did that look? When did you decide to leave the early childhood education and devote yourself to writing?
Well, I tell people I couldn't get off the floor anymore. So I was too old and too tired. My energy was gone. When you work with little ones, it's always kind of a, rushing, and you have to have this like superpower burst of energy, all those kinds of things. And when I saw myself like, I think we need someone else in here who's a little bit younger and has a little bit more creativity, I knew it was time to move through that. But also maybe, I don't know, 10 or 11, 12 years ago, I went through a really challenging divorce and depression. So as a woman who was working in administration and in corporate, and at the time I wasn't working with little ones, I was actually working for the state of Alabama in a space of as a administrator and associate director. So I had this big job, and then depression came in my life, and then the challenge of having to overcome as a result of a life change, such as a divorce. And my identity, of course, at the time was wrapped up in being an early childhood administrator and being a director of, a state of Alabama program of all of these things. But I could not continue with that because I needed support with my depression. And I found a writing class in Birmingham, Alabama, sat on this lady's red couch for 4 years, and I began to write myself back together again. And at the time I said, I want to take this red couch metaphorically out to women like myself, corporate America, women who are in education, women who are in nonprofit organizations, women who are themselves struggling with depression or life transition or divorce, or, simple things that are happening that to them are monumental. And I want to help support others in writing themselves back together again. And so that's kind of began that seed for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that, writing yourself back together again. Yeah. So you mentioned red couch.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tell us more.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this magical red couch. And when I think about it, it may have been burgundy, but I'm just going to say it's a red couch. Okay. This lady's red couch. And so that's what I've been doing for, the last, 4 or 5 years, is really doing red couch writers, where metaphorically or, physically, we come and we sit on a red couch and we begin to write. It's that whole, I think, aspect around, as women, we are suited up, we're buttoned up, we have expectations, right? We also have norms of how we are to be in corporate America, in organizations, as executives, as leaders. But at the same time, we aren't a monolith to any of those things. And when you think of the red couch, a comfy space where you can just be Salaam, like it just be April, where you could just be yourself. No, I'm not the leader of anything. I'm not the executive of anything. I'm on this red couch and I'm with someone who's holding space for me. And we are either writing or sharing together our hopes and our dreams and our successes. So that's what the red couch is for me. Yes.
And so in what year did you found
I found I have a literary healing arts business in Red Couch Writers. So it's literary healing arts in 2016. So I found it in 2016. I had no idea what I was doing, of course. I went to Create Birmingham. So Create Birmingham has a Co-Starters program. If you're not familiar with Birmingham, Alabama, Co-Starters is a startup program for people who have ideas and creative pursuits. And while I was there, I just said, I don't know what I'm here for. And literary healing came up, and literary healing arts and Red Couch came up. So in 2016, I really started doing workshops and trainings and speaking engagements on that topic. Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about how that is structured. So if someone wants to participate in a Red Couch, is it a workshop?
Yes. So we have Red Couch workshops. Basically, what I do is if you are an organization or an agency and you would like to have your employees, your staff, or your leaders to have a workshop, I plan something that is specifically for you. So if it's for women leaders, if it's cultural leaders, if it's for BIPOC leaders, what have you. So I really come into organizations and I help you customize spaces for your leaders. And what that looks like, workshops, as well as individual one-on-ones with people who are wanting to write themselves back together again. Mm-hmm. So my basic hope is that all organizations begin to rewrite their story, write themselves back together again, and do it in a fashion that is culturally competent for us all.
And what did that look like for you personally?
For me, it looked like accepting that the transition I was making from administration and as a leader in this space did not mean that I still couldn't be a leader over here in my artistic pursuits. So I would actually began to define writing prompts for myself. So there would be writing prompts such as, how am I feeling today? And just taking my journal out and writing how I'm feeling today. Then also writing, what things do I want to let go of? But then also, what things do I want to keep? Mm-hmm. So giving myself an opportunity to write out those things in my life that, right now aren't working, but also write in those things that are working. And to take the shame out of the fact that, we're making this transition as a woman. I think for me, at the time single, I don't have children. All these kinds of things sometimes can be shameful. Like men can say, okay, I'm a lawyer and tomorrow I'm going to buy a truck and I'm going to, go around the United States and change my job and nothing. But as women, sometimes we say that and they're like, oh, has she lost her mind? Oh, here she is, a director of a program. She's making great money. And now she's moving to be what do you say? An artist on a red couch? What is that? And so I help people really rewrite their stories through writing prompts that are specialized for them. And after writing through those writing prompts, I began to share my story. I began to find a space where I could say, there are things I'm letting go of, but there are also things I'm keeping. And through that, writing and sharing and storytelling, I think I began to rewrite my identity and who I am. And I began to really walk more confidently in this next phase of my life.
And that resulted in a big award, if I'm not mistaken.
What award? Yes,
Laureate.
yeah, okay. I was like, okay, I know. It's pandemic, it's COVID. I can't remember anything. Yes, yes, and the poet laureate for innovation in the state of Alabama.
So tell us
Where
about
did
that
that come
work
from?
that led to that prize.
Yes. So through Create Birmingham, there was an opportunity where creatives and business and entrepreneurs and innovators across the state of Alabama were able to kind of bring together their innovative approach. And I was asked to do that. And I did a poem on Alabama is where the world comes to create. And I really believe Alabama is where the world comes to create. And as a result of that, I won the award that year for innovation and creativity as the poet laureate. And I was able to speak to so many people about the creation of Alabama and the different ways in which we create here in Alabama.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that I know that come to visit Alabama from far and wide, right, internationally or elsewhere in the United States, and they are always so shocked when they get here and experience everything from the landscape to the people to the the culinary scene. It's just like, really, is this all happening here? I mean, we just have a PR problem, don't we?
There's an image, yeah, the image problem, I think, or a challenge with our image. But I think we're, through innovation and creativity, we're really transforming that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I want to go back to the workshops and things that you do for either individuals or for teams in a corporate setting. If someone were to want to participate in something like that, do they just contact you directly?
Yes. So you would just contact me directly. My website is The Literary Healing Arts, and there's a booking space there as well. Or you can email me at salamgreen@gmail.com. And what I really want to do is customize what is right for your team, what is right for your organization. Or if you are an HR person and you say, I have someone who needs coaching, or, not necessarily they've already done the counseling, but they are looking at coaching for the transition and transforming the next phase of their life. And I sit with the HR person, I sit with the agency, I sit with the team, and we come up with a plan. Usually it's 3 months to 6 months where we sit and we talk about the different workshops that we can do, as well as the one-on-one individual trainings that we can incorporate into your culture.
Excellent. And so I imagine it's kind of along those lines of what you are going to do for your session at the Momentum Conference. Would I be right?
I think you're right. Can we roll in a red couch for the Momentum Conference? Yes, let's do that. Like, put a red couch in the foyer and just come and sit at the red couch. And I can only imagine what people are going to share. But yeah, that would be a great, little, 30-second clip to see just the red couch in the middle of the space and everyone sharing at a pivotal time such as this. Yes. Well, yes, I'm doing a Rewrite Your Success Story, which I'm very excited about. And the Rewrite Your Success Story is an opportunity for wonderful, wonderful momentum women and leaders to come into a space where someone is actually holding space for you. And when I say holding space for you, it's witnessing who you are right now. And in that moment, oftentimes, there are so many other wonderful things that are happening, but can we slow down and take a moment where we can actually invite ourselves back into ourselves? What are the things, once again, that you would like to let go of? What are the things that you like to keep? What are the spaces of success that you are proud of? And what are the spaces of success that you want to reach for? So helping others kind of rewrite their success story based on their inner soul healing, based on who they are today, based on what is working, not on shame and, any of those things, but transforming our shame into power. I really believe that's so important for women leaders, transforming shame into power so that we can move into the next phase of our lives with beauty and grace and hope and confidence. So that's rewriting your story. And when everyone leaves, they're going to have a poem of what their new story looks like. And no, it's okay. I know we aren't poets, but before we leave, we will all do a poem, which is going to be our next phase in our life, whatever that may look like.
That sounds amazing, especially after this pandemic and what we have all been through. You know, if life isn't enough and if we don't have enough challenges and events and traumatic things that happen, and then you lay a pandemic on top of it, and you know, so many people reconsidering what their purpose is, so many people reconsidering how they want to spend their time and their days and who they want to spend it with. So I think this workshop sounds amazing. It sounds very cathartic and very very touching in a soul deep kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That's it. I want it to be the soul deep touching space. And hopefully it's where women leaders can take it back into their organizations and agencies and spaces in homes and can begin to use some of those same tools and techniques and strategies with their teams or with their families or with other women leaders as well. I would love for it to become a movement, a momentum movement of soul deep diving. Yes.
Well, I'd like to remind people that if they want to contact you, they can go to the Healing Arts. Is that .com?
Yes, .com. TheLiteraryHealingArts.com. Yes.
TheLiteraryHealingArts.com, or email you at Salaam, and that's SALAAM Green @gmail.com.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Please contact me. I would love to speak with you and hold space for anyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us today. We really appreciate it. Can't wait to see the session at the Momentum Conference, which is March 16th and 17th at the BJCC. If you have not registered, you should do so very quickly. And you can do that at momentumleaders.org. Again, that's momentumleaders.org for the conference on March 16th and 17th, which will feature a session with Salaam Green.
Yeah,
Rewriting
I'm
your
so
success
excited.
story. We are too.
You.
And you know what? We just might make a red couch appear. It sounds like a good idea.
I think that's the best idea. This is a happy moment. Yes, let's make a red couch appear. Momentum is so great. Please register. Thank you.
Thank you, Salaam, and you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.